friends, welcome to another edition of Beavertown Outdoors. I'm John, and today we are going to do something I haven't done in a long time. As you might know, I got away from last year. I quit stacking all my wood, went to the bin system. That's worked out great. I keep the oak in one bin. I've got campfire wood and mixed hardwood in other bins. That said, I still have the totes, and I came across something interesting here. So, what I've got over here is this is Honey Locust. If you're not familiar with Honey Locust, it's a very dense wood that actually has higher BTUs per pound than oak. So it's actually, I guess, from a heat perspective, it's better than oak. Has a really neat looking grain. And I mean, you guys can't feel the weight of this obviously in the video, but this is very, very dense. This stick is probably, I don't know, this just weighs, you can tell this compared to, I don't know, a piece of oak nearby. But this one piece weighs about as much as a small round of oak. But Honey Locust has nice tight grain structure. It's white on the outer ring here, and then it has this red on the inside. That for Honey Locust. Black Locust, it's two colored as well. It doesn't have the red color though. Black Locust is a similar wood. Both, like I said, both are higher BTU than oak. They're just a great wood. They do take just as long as oak to dry, if not more, because again, this is very, very dense. So this wood is actually, I guess, probably more valuable than the red oak, which I have tons of red oak right now. I got this from a friend of mine. Had a couple of Honey Locust trees cut down at his shop, and he doesn't eat with wood, doesn't do much, and didn't find much use for it. So he said I could have it. So I went over and picked up the rounds, cut them up, and hauled them home and split them up. But my plan was, back in the past, I've just mixed Black Locust, Honey Locust with the oak. But maybe try something new. See, I don't get a whole lot of this, but see if maybe if I keep this separated. I mean, typically I separate out campfire wood, which is pine, poplar, box elder, things like that. Keep those separate. I keep mixed hardwood, ash, elm, maple. Basically any other kind of medium grade hardwood. I keep those separate and mix hardwood. And then the only things I keep specifically usually separate has been the oak. The white and the red oak. I don't separate white and red oak because I don't have a lot of people asking me for, particularly for white oak for smoking or anything like that. But like I said, I used to mix, because it was similar, I used to mix Honey Locust in with the oak. But I'm going to try to separate it out. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I used to use totes all the time. So I've still got a couple of totes left. Actually, I got a bunch of totes left. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the time and stack the Honey Locust I split into the totes. And that way we'll keep it separate. And we'll let it dry for 2 years, because this was a live tree when it was cut down. So it's going to be probably all of a year and a half, 2 years to get it to dry. But we're going to keep it separate for that. And then the nice thing within the totes, if I need to move them out of the way, I don't have enough of it to make a bin. And one thing with the bins is, and stacks too, you can't really move them that easy unless you just sell them off. You don't want to handle them extra. Where the totes, I can pick them up with the tractor and move them. So, and this gives me a good opportunity with the Branson to see how we do now that I got this. So what I got here is, so about a month ago, I actually finally broke down, had the tires loaded on the Branson. I got tired of, if you're familiar with tractors, they're actually really light in the rear end by design for whatever reason. But so I had one of the solutions to get weight on the back is to have the tires loaded, because I was finding that having the weight box all the time. My weight box, it was a cheaper one. Came from overseas, and the welds on it actually split, and it was ready to fall off. So took that off. I said, you know what, that was always a pain in the butt as far as having that, and that, it has a trailer hitch on it, slot, but you could never see it. So I had the tires loaded so I could use my hitch to move the trailer around, but it was actually more weight than the ballast box. I think with these tires loaded, it's about 620 pounds, 620, 640, something like that. So it was a little more weight than the 550-ish I had in the weight box. But even with that, loading some big logs is still a little light in the rear end. So I wanted to get a little bit more weight, and I've been shopping around looking for suitcase weights and the weight in a hitch to hold them. And I came across one on Marketplace, so I got it used, got it for a good price. These with the weights and the hitch, they can be upwards of $1,000. I got this for right around $400. The hitch and the suitcase weights. Now they're only the 40-pound weights. They're not the 70. There is such thing as a 7. There are bigger weights, 60, 70-pound weights. I just got the 40. This came with the 42-pound weights. There's 8 of them, so 8 plus the hitch, plus I've got my trailer ball there, which is a solid one. We're roughly right around 400, little more than 400 pounds. So that, with the tires loaded now, instead of just 500 pounds, 550 on the rear end, we've got a little bit more than 1,000 pounds now ballast weight in the rear end. So I want to see how that does moving around these totes. So I'm gonna get it loaded up and get these totes filled up. Then we're gonna move them, see how we do. So there you have it. I may have quite enough to fill 2 totes, and it's just weather telling me that the air quality sucks, which it does. Can't tell. It's hazy here. I don't know if that's wildfire smoke or if it's just so humid you can see the humidity in the air. Either way, it's not the greatest. I didn't have quite enough to fill up the second tote, so this is a little more than a face cord. You know, that took right about an hour to stack it in the totes. You know, I wasn't hustling by any means, but it still took a while. Sometimes you need a reminder of why you choose to do certain things. This kind of serves as a reminder why I don't stack every single piece of wood. You know, special circumstance like this is one thing. You know, I've got some locust here. I've got some apple from a couple of trees I found and cut down. You know, specialty stuff, that's fine. The only way this is worth anything is if you can charge a premium for it, or if this is how I'm going to use, you know, leave it to be the end user myself. You know, it takes an hour. If you take an hour to stack a face cord into totes, it's a little quicker when you're doing just stacks out in the open. You know, but if you think about all the wood I've got out here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I've got probably 50 or more full cord on site right now. You know, how long would that take to stack? If this is an hour, you know, each one of those bins is 30 of these, and how many hours would that take? You know, where versus I can run off the processor into the bucket, dump it, or, you know, running it right into a trailer, throw it and tossing it off. Either way, that's much quicker than to stack all this. You know, this if I sell it, I can sell it for a premium, and you better believe that the time I spent stacking it is going to figure into that price. So to do that in my market for wood like oak, that, you know, I'm on the upper end by charging, you know, I charge $100 a face cord for a third of a cord. That's delivered. You know, that's kind of in the higher end. I get that, you know, because of service and other reasons. You know, people are willing to pay that to me. You know, but to have this, you know, the amount of money I have to put into this, the extra money for stacking it, it's got to be a wood that's going to draw a premium. So, you know, if you got a customer that knows the difference, the locust to oak, you're going to draw more money. You can build in a little extra value for the stacking. You know, I agree with the statement that more touches equal more value. The problem is you can only charge what the market will bear. If you're in a market that has a bigger city nearby where wood is scarce, and people have income and are willing to spend it, your market might bear 150, you know, 120, 140, 150 a face cord, you know, where you're into the $500 for $600 for a full cord delivered. Here, not so much. We're more of a rural area. We do have a couple small cities nearby, and I've delivered to those. You know, people are happy to get it. But around here, wood's not scarce, and it's a rural area, middle to lower middle class, so people don't have the money to spend on it. People are burning wood out here to save money, where people in a city are burning it for enjoyment, for beer drinking money, you know, sit around a fire, ambiance, things like that. So, not to ramble on too much, but this is a special circumstance. Would I go back to doing this all the time? Absolutely not. Not worth it. Not worth the time. I can't recoup the cost of my time. Time you can't get more of. You can only get somebody to pay you for it. So, but for this, it works out good. This is going to sit for 2 years to dry out fully, and we'll see. If I have any luck selling it, great. If not, it's going to go in my stash. So, because I know the difference and it burns really well. I've got a little bit more of this over on the processor. I've got some small limbwood. I don't know. People give me grief if I call them logs. So big sticks. A few sticks of firewood. A few sticks of this that need to run through the processor, which I'm going to do that. Give me a good opportunity to test out the new chain conveyor and see how that works. So, but that'll be another video. If you like this one, if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Feel free to share. But until next time, from all of us here at the beautiful Beavertown compound and Beavertown Outdoors, take care of each other, be good, stay safe, and I'm out.